Good morning, everyone. Well, we have officially started the virtual tailgate party for Lafayette Football for 2020. We want to thank all of you who have joined us. We want to welcome all of you who have joined us. I know it's a virtual tailgate party, so it may not be as much fun as sausage on the grill, hamburgers cooking, opening that can of your favorite beverage. But we hope that at least we can entertain you for a bit about Lafayette football. And before we get started, I just want to let everybody know who's an attendee that your mic is muted for the duration of the virtual tailgate. You will be able to ask questions, however, to Coach Garrett and to the team captains using the Q&A feature in the Zoom webinar, which you can get at the top of your screen. Please note that monitoring and responding to a large volume of questions may make it difficult to answer all the questions, though we will do our best to have as many questions answered as possible. And now I'd like to invite in my two co-hosts, two guys who probably know more about Lafayette football than anybody else. So they are the perfect co-hosts for today. Of course, Mike Joseph, who does all the analysis for our broadcast, and head coach John Garrett, getting ready to start his fourth season at Lafayette College. And guys, before we get to talking football, let's talk about how you've handled the coronavirus at home. Both of you with large families, Mike with 3 kids, John, you with 4 kids. So I'll start with Mike. And Mike, I've noticed you've lost your hair, so it hasn't been good.
Well, it's been challenging, I'll tell you that, to work from home and obviously have the 3 kids. My oldest boy is senior at Lafayette, is graduating this year, and my daughter home from Penn State doing her virtual classes here, and obviously my son, a senior at Moravian Academy, graduating this year on his way to West Point shortly. In about 2 months, he'll be leaving. But it has been crazy. And probably the worst part about it is the Wi-Fi. It's because everybody is on it. And then you have to tackle the fact that you have 3 dogs and you have my wife working in her office and my office. But it's been challenging, but you know what, somewhat relaxing as well.
John, you've got 6 people in your house and a dog. So how's that going?
Well, quite frankly, it's been great. This is family time that I didn't expect. So my 4 children are all in the house with my wife, Honor, and I, and our dog, Judy. And my son, John, came back from graduate school down at Georgia State. And my daughter, Honor, came back from working in Nashville. And my daughter, Olivia, came back from being a junior at University of South Carolina. And then Caroline, our youngest, is a senior at Easton. So we were all together, and these were family dinners that I didn't expect, and our kids really just adapted great. They all decided to take turns who was going to be responsible for dinner every night. So we had a different theme, and they were responsible for cooking and preparing the meal, and had some great meals until the rotation got to me, and I just defaulted to takeout. All right, I defaulted to takeout. My reasoning was let's support the local restaurants in East. All right, and we certainly did that. So despite the difficult times for some people, and it's been for us a time where our family was together. So there's a lot of blessings in this as well.
And John, it leads me right into our next episode here today, and that's the fact that it's been particularly difficult for the seniors on your football team. They just never quite had the goodbye that seniors get at the end of a season. But John Sabino and his staff put together a senior video. So talk a little bit about your seniors and introduce the video.
Well, it's such a great group who contributed so much this year. They are a big reason why we had a breakthrough season this year, and they've laid the foundation for what we're calling a breakout season in 2020. We had so many really good contributions from so many of them. And this past weekend, Saturday, would have been our spring game where we honor the seniors with our banquet. We would have had our end of the season banquet as well, where we dole out some awards and honor them. And we didn't have a chance to formally do that in person. We were able to do that on a video conference with them last Friday. So it was our way to pay tribute to them. But this video is a great video. It really shows their contributions. A lot of them made some big plays in some key games and key moments, and we're so thankful for them and their contributions on and off the field. So here's the video for our seniors, and thanks very much, guys.
Rusher, good protection this time. Fire, that's intercepted. That ball is going to be caught by Lafayette. It was thrown short, and Yazir Thomas. This time, it's DeMurat who keeps the football. He's gone deep. He's got a man wide open. Downfield, and it's going to be broken up in the last second. Making up some yardage was Yazir Thomas.
From El Ziyad right there, and then, like you said, great job, though, by the senior, keeping his eyes on the eyes of the receiver.
And Zathan Hill has a little blocking in front of him. And a fumble on the play, and who has it? Lafayette says they do.
Caused by
Yazir Thomas. They give it to Simpson. Can he get the corner? He's got a good block in front of him, too. Oh, what a great job by Marotti. That's a touchdown, Lafayette. Jake Marotti with a terrific block downfield.
Away from people.
Got a great 91-yard catch and run for a touchdown. Here's a good run by Lafayette as they'll get the ball to a first down. Here they use a draw play. Selwyn Simpson, he's going to go in for a touchdown. Oh, what a terrific call.
Jones on the ground. Coming right, fumbles the football. Lafayette gets it.
Dunn has 30 yards already on just 3 carries. There he makes another nice cut. He's in for the touchdown. Oh my! The handoff, here comes pressure, going down. Good job by Keith Earl, he would not be denied. Turn around, hand the ball off to Emil Paria. He waits for his blocks to form, and he's going to be close to but shy of a first down. the 10-yard line to Jalen Floyd. Floyd, he's gonna get crushed. Coming up to make the stick is Jack Lamb, the senior, 6'1", 220 from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Jack Lamb with the hit. And a fumble on the play, and who has it? Lafayette says they do.
Caused by
Yazir Thomas. 45. It was number 45 for Lafayette, Jack Lamb.
He's going to go to the far sideline, look for Joey Alderelli, who had it for a second, but coming out of the pile with it, it's an interception for Eric Mitchell. Intercepted. 5th turnover of the game for Holy Cross.
Off the length of the football.
Yeah, you don't need much at all. They hand it on. That's first down. So that will be a first down. No, not by much. Let's see who carries the ball. I thought he had an 8 up there. It was Ryan Montaigne who carries the ball for the first time this season.
Blocked. Lafayette in. They'll scoop it up.
Flag route.
He's got him wide open downfield, and that's going to be a touchdown. Oh my! Shoemaker does have time, goes over the middle, and that catch is made by Nick Pearson, who keeps his feet. Knee never hit. Pearson trying to explode towards the end zone inside the 10-5 touchdown. Deep, and it is complete, and it's a touchdown. Shoemaker with a big strike.
Snelling's hands. Snelling still running around.
So we certainly say our thanks too to the class of 2019. And Coach John Garrett, I know that you weren't able to maybe personally dole out some awards to those seniors, but there were 4 seniors that got some exceptional awards from you and from your staff. Can you talk about them?
Yeah, we would normally present them at the banquet, and we start with just the defensive MVP, and that goes to Yazir Thomas. He's one of our captains, and he led the team on and off the field by example and by his word and deed, and he just contributed with some really big plays, but also earned the respect of his teammates. And he was a vital cog in our defense and how well they played, particularly in the Patriot League season. And so Yasir was named our defensive MVP. And then we have a couple awards we call the Leopard Awards, and they are the rare breed. Think of it as that white spotted leopard that you rarely see. And these are the right kind of guys, the flag carriers, those that are true ambassadors of your team and just play the right way with the right approach every single day. And we awarded two of them, one on offense to Captain Jake Marotti. Jake just came to work each day, led the offensive line, received accolades in the Patriot League for his play, but also earned the respect of his teammates. And then on defense, Ryan Barnett, a defensive lineman for us. He played all across the line. Wherever we needed him, we could put Barney in there. And he brought an energy and an enthusiasm and a competitiveness that was nonstop. And he brought it every day at practice, and he was hard to block, and he stayed after the quarterback, and just the right approach every day. So really just pleased with those guys and congratulate them with what we call the Leopard Awards. And then we awarded the Dave Nelson Valor Award, named after Dave Nelson, who was a graduate of Lafayette who nearly lost his life to a stabbing right before his senior season. And that award is awarded to someone who overcomes adversity, has to adhere and just overcome challenges throughout his career. And that guy was Eric Mitchell. Eric Mitchell played hurt. He had multiple shoulder surgeries. He had lower leg injuries, he had back injuries, and somehow, some way, most of the time, he was out there for his team. So Eric Mitchell got that award that we name after Dave Nelson, the Valor Award. So really pleased to recognize those four guys of our senior class, which was a senior class that contributed so much to our 2019 season.
And John, we certainly hope that they're watching today, watching our tailgate party, and we congratulate them for those particular honors. We're going to call this our halftime now, as yesterday, Mike and I had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Jason McLaughlin, the class of '95. He is currently at Abington Hospital. He was a Lafayette place kicker who you may know because he was 4-time All-League, 2-time first team. He was on the All-Patriot League 25th anniversary team and the 15th anniversary team. He was on Lafayette's All-Decade team. He was a member of 2 championship teams in '92 and '94. He is the all-time leading scorer in both Patriot League and Lafayette history with 255 career points. And he has been in the center of the coronavirus epidemic. So we had a chance to chat with Dr. Jason McLaughlin. Jason McLaughlin, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're unbelievably busy right now with this situation, and certainly we all want to express our thank you, our respect, our admiration for not only the doctors, the nurses, the first responders for taking on the responsibility of the challenge of this coronavirus. So thank you for that. And my first question was going to be, what kind of coach was Mike Joseph? But I think I'll hold off on that one, and I'll let Mike ask the first question.
Hey, Jason, great to see you again. Great to have you here, and such a special time for you. And obviously, being in the medical field, you're on the front lines, and one of the former members of Lafayette that are working in the medical field. And what has it really been like? I mean, from a standpoint of being on the front lines, taking on people coming in, has it been as hectic as everybody says? And maybe you can give us a little bit of insight as a former player, and obviously what it means to be helping people so close to the front line.
Well, it's interesting because it's certainly, as you hear through all the news, it's very busy. You hear about New York and how they're dealing with it. It seems like, at least in our hospital, which is just north of Philly, the volume actually is down, which is a good thing. It tells us that people are paying attention to the stay-at-home orders, to the recommendations, just to try to be as cautious as possible. The volume's down, but the people that are coming in tend to be sicker at this point. So you have a large number of people from nursing homes that are coming in And they already have pre-existing conditions where there's situations where certainly a virus like this can throw them into a perilous situation. And they, although we will see a lot of sick people on a daily basis, it just seems like we're seeing a few more of these individuals. The interesting thing is you'll also see younger people come in that normally if they had the flu, they would just look ill. You could tell they had the flu, more than just a regular bug, and normally just a regular virus, and they just appear to be a little bit worse and just tend to have some respiratory symptoms that they normally wouldn't have, or we wouldn't see as frequently. So in terms of presentation, the people just look a little bit sicker, to the point of requiring ventilators maybe a little more frequently. But again, volume down. So we have the staff. It's just a matter of having the appropriate resources and space. And fortunately, at the hospital that I work at, we haven't had any issues at this point. They've been very good in terms of protection, in terms of what's available for the patients that are coming in.
Jason, I understand that there are, you're not alone as a Lafayette graduate in terms of people working at your hospital and also at Abington Lansdale Hospital. Can you mention some of the Lafayette grads, and perhaps maybe they were also athletes, whether you know that or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have one of Lafayette's best athletes. I guess there could be a debate over that, but one of Lafayette's best, in Heidi Caruso, who Heidi Commons now is her last name, but Heidi's at Lansdale, works in the emergency department as well. So she's part of our group, and we work closely with her, and she's an excellent physician. Other docs that we have in the hospital, there are no other docs, from what I understand, that played sports, although I may be wrong with that, but Merritt Van Pelt is a woman that I work with in the emergency department, and then Rich Friedenheim is a pulmonary critical care doc he's seeing, of course, the worst of the worst as well, because they come into us, we stabilize, and then they go to the ICU where Rich Friedenheim would take care of them in the ICU. So, and he's an invested grad. He's made it very clear to me. I think he's been to every Lafayette Lehigh game for the last 45 years. So his family is, I think, very invested in Lafayette and Lehigh, for that matter.
And you haven't? And you haven't? What's the deal?
I haven't been to every one. No, I moved away for a little bit for residency, and but I've actually gone to a game with Rich and his family, and took my boys with him. The two of my kids with him, so it was enjoyable to see that environment, that family situation. But yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to be around a lot of Lafayette grads, and I'm good friends with another guy who I didn't know while at Lafayette, but met afterwards. Craig Weiss, he was a baseball player for Lafayette, and a very solid baseball player as well. He lives right near me, so. It's a great community.
Mike?
Yeah, great job. We talk, obviously we've covered what you've been doing after, but let's take you back a little bit and take you back to that time on Lafayette on the Hill. And, a lot of people don't remember. It's 20 years ago. So, you think about it, you are one of the only players that was a 4-time All-Patriot League player, 4-time, twice a first leaguer. Incredible accolades, members of 2 Patriot League championships. Both you and I were members of those, and you were recognized on the 15th year anniversary team. I mean, you were an incredible player, the best kicker in the league. Take us back a little bit and tell me about what you remember about the time on College Hill and what really kind of stood out for you. You had some great coaches. Obviously, Coach Tavani retired a few years ago. He was your kicking coach at the time, and I remember that so well, him and you having such a great relationship. So take us back a little bit and tell us a little bit about what you remember most.
I think it goes back to the friendships. I mean, it starts from freshman year. when you're in the dorms 2 weeks before college. And I will always say with sports, it's such a benefit, and it has a benefit in many ways. But coming into college 2 weeks early, meeting a bunch of guys, meeting 100 guys that you're spending all day with every day, I mean, certainly that opportunity gives you a leg up on the rest of the kids coming into school. I mean, you're coming from high school to college and just meeting everybody. You have a comfort level. When everybody else shows up, you're already comfortable because you've been in the environment for 2 weeks. And the group of guys that are there, Lafayette picks good people. I mean, they aren't going to take people that don't fit in and that aren't successful, that aren't intelligent, that aren't good people. So that's what I remember the most from the beginning. And then the fact that continues along. I mean, there are certain email chains that I'm on with people I haven't heard from years, and you pick right back up. And they may not have been my best buddies while at school, but they we talk like we've known each other forever, and we're best friends. And I think you just meet a unique individual at Lafayette that you really hold on to those friendships, and it's a great experience.
Jason, one final question, and again, we thank you for taking the time, but you've already touched on this a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about the experience at Lafayette, both athletically and academically, in terms of how it prepared you for this elite profession of being a doctor?
Well, I think it provides you with the opportunity to kind of take your own course. I mean, when I was there was not a pre-med track. I was a chemistry major, but I enjoyed history. I loved biology. I mean, you can get through your major and still have opportunities to see so many different fields. So you can kind of carve your own track in that regard. The small classes were great, just the contact with the professors. I mean, I did research in the chemistry labs. I was a lab assistant, and it was a teaching assistant in the lab, I guess. So long ago, I'm forgetting the exact term. I apologize. But it provided you the opportunity to learn, but also to teach and to grow. And the one thing I was writing down some notes of just certain things that I enjoyed about school. Again, it goes back to those friendships, but it's also you get to know so many people, and you can pick people's brains, even if obviously it was a big Greek situation, at least while I was there. I know that's pared down a little bit, but it didn't matter if you were in a fraternity or a sorority. You had your classmates as well. You had multiple different groups of friends that you would spend time with and study with. And it's just a unique situation where you're dealing with a lot of great people. I guess, how has it helped me? By letting you grow on your own, but with obviously some guidelines and assistance. You're able to find your niche, and that helps you going forward. You can kind of take your own path. There's not necessarily one way to do things, and you learn that in many walks of life by just figuring out what works for you, and kind of taking your own independence and letting that grow. So I mean, it was a great place. I look back on College Hill fondly. I think it's a great place.
Keep making us safer and healthier.
Very good. I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice talking with you guys.
Well, there you go. That conversation, of course, took place yesterday. And now we want to talk about the 2020 season. And John Garrett, it has been a new normal for you, for sure. And I know Mike has a good question for you as far as coaching in this environment. So here's Mike.
Yeah, John, with such uncertainty everywhere, obviously in the business world and obviously in athletics, and you can't even turn the TV on and find something to watch unless it's a replay nowadays. But, the question I have is how really has your team approached this? How has been the approach to the preparation? Everybody out there really wants to know, what's Lafayette doing to win ball games next year, and how are they doing it in this environment?
Well, the message right out of the chute to our team was the team that responds the right way and handles this adversity is going to have the advantage in the fall. We embrace challenges. So this was a challenge to, number one, react properly. And the way to do that is to establish a routine right away and try to mimic exactly what we were doing at Berger to assimilate our spring practice. So we couldn't practice on the field, but we could meet. And so the NCAA allows us to meet 4 hours a week. And we did that 4 times a week for an hour a day. And we installed our offense and defense and special teams systems, just like we would if we were practicing normally. And we established routine with the schedule. Our coaches' schedules were the same. Instead of meeting in person, we were meeting through video conference. Our team meeting is the same time, 4 o'clock, where we started with the team meeting, then went to special teams, then broke up into offense and defense. So we wanted to create a routine and a schedule for the guys as quickly as possible. And they adapted great. They epitomized improvise, adapt, overcome. And we were able to, through video conferencing and the time permitted by the NCAA, install all our offense, defense, and special teams as if we were in the spring. So we're caught up. We're not behind at all. We just haven't had the physical practice. And other than the football, the thing that you lose, which people don't realize, it's obvious that we can't practice and we can't do the physical teachings and activities on the field. But the other thing that you lose is the locker room, the camaraderie, the interaction, the getting to know each other, to the walks to practice and off the field, the group of guys that walks up to the dining hall together. You miss that. So towards the end of our 6 weeks, we used some of the sessions for team bonding. We needed to create that virtual locker room to allow the guys to have that camaraderie, that time to interact, that time to bust each other's chops, to get into those discussions about who's the GOAT in NBA basketball of all time. And because that's what you do in the locker room. And we were able to do that. We broke up into groups and guys at different positions that don't normally interact with each other got a chance to really get to know each other. And so not only did we thrive, but we accomplished what we needed to by teaching them football. And the charge there was become masters of your position, all right, true technicians, and become masters of the playbook, but also continue to form those teammate bonds, that shared commitment that you need as a team to accomplish what we want to, and that's a Patriot League championship in this 2020 season.
John, you've talked about the routine you're trying to establish, but I also know the NCAA has put some restrictions on everybody in terms of football. Can you talk about what activities you're allowed to do as a head coach with your team and some of the activities that people at home may not realize you're just not allowed to do?
Well, like I said before, we're able to do 4 hours of video conferencing where we can meet with the team. So we installed our systems of football. We can do team bonding, like things like that. And then our strength coach, Coach Potts, could send our team workouts. And they got workouts for situations where if they had access to a home gym, or some guys don't, and they have to do workouts with body weight type things. So we were able to do that and allowable by the NCAA, and just got to trust the guys that they were doing it. And we got a great bunch. We got a great bunch of kids who have a great culture of work ethic that hold each other accountable. And we trust that they're doing it, and led by our captains to hold them accountable. I can assure you that the 2020 Lafayette Leopards are going to be in great shape when we start playing again.
Well, that's a terrific segue into it, John. you're keeping track of the kids, obviously, and staying in shape is the one thing, especially football. Obviously, you don't have the contact, and that's the issue that you're going to have to put emphasis on, I would assume, in the fall. But how are, I mean, tell everybody out there, how are these kids staying in shape? What are they doing? Are they, what level are they taking it to? And, what can we expect from some of these kids that obviously we're going to talk to in a few minutes, these seniors?
Yeah, just repeat it, Mike. I can't hear you.
Just saying, John, can you hear me now? Just how do they stay in shape? How are they working to stay in shape?
Well, they got to do it on their own, and that's part of growing up, and part of your maturity as a person and a player is you don't have that strength coach and prescribed time that you have to lift. So you have to become a disciplined football player to create a schedule, budget your time, do your work, get your conditioning in, get your lifts in. And we got some smart guys. So they probably rigged some things together to what simulated a bench press and or could have been, lifting their younger siblings or holding chairs over their head or something like that. But they were getting it done because the charge to the team was, we are a no excuse outfit. All right. This is a challenge, and don't tell me you can't lift. Don't tell me you can't run. There's a road outside your house. All right. And go run down the street or run up a nearby hill or something like that. And these guys embraced it. It's a great group. It's a great work ethic culture. And, these guys are getting it done and holding each other accountable.
John, I know that your staff has changed a bit. The promotion, of course, of Doug McFadden and the addition of Ricky Brown and Tom McIntyre. Talk a little bit about those guys that you've added now to your coaching staff.
Well, we added two great additions to our coaching staff, prompted by the first move we made is promoting Doug McFadden to defensive coordinator. Doug has been a longtime coach here at Lafayette, well-respected, loved by his players, and does a really good job in every aspect of the coaching responsibility. Really good coach and excellent recruiter. So really pleased with and excited about him leading our defense as the defensive coordinator. And then we're able to add two coaches, linebacker coach Ricky Brown, who comes to us after coaching at Boston College. He played at Boston College and also played 7 years in the NFL with the Raiders and the Ravens. And he has hit the ground running and assimilated really quickly. He's picked up the defense, and he's doing a great job with our linebackers. And then we added Tommy McIntyre to coach our secondary. Tommy's a veteran college coach. He's coached at Delaware, Rutgers, Wake Forest. He was recently the defensive coordinator of Baldwin Wallace. He is from Western PA, so he has a really good understanding of that critical area in recruiting. And his father-in-law is a high school football coach at Roxbury High School in New Jersey, so he's familiar with the area. We'll bring him back into Pennsylvania. And we're excited to have those two guys on our staff, and really pleased with how we're set up as a coaching staff for the 2020 season.
Well, Ricky and Tom, we welcome you to Lafayette. Look forward to the season. And Doug, you're the same guy. Your beard just keeps getting grayer and grayer as the seasons progress. But welcome to all three of you. And I know some of you are at home or jealous about the fact that we're able to ask questions and you are not. But let me again remind you, you can type questions to Coach Garrett and the 2020 team captains using the Q&A feature in the Zoom webinar. It's right up at the top of your screen. Just use the drop down and the Q&A will show up there. Please note that there will be a large volume of questions, and it may be difficult to answer them all, but we'll do our best to have as many questions answered as we possibly can before we leave you. And again, we want to thank you for joining us there. And we're now approaching about 300 people who are spending some time with us this morning. All right, John, I think it's an exciting time too for everybody, the team and the people at home, even though some people may already know who follow Lafayette football, who your team co-captains are. Let's give them an official introduction and bring them on the screen. So, John, it's all yours. Who are your new captains?
Well, it's a pleasure to announce these guys as our leaders for the 2020 season. They, from the moment they walked on campus, they were the right kind of guys and showed that natural leadership. And they also have been very productive on the field as well, and will represent our team in a tremendous way. We'll just go in alphabetical order. First is John Burke, starting offensive lineman for us. He plays offensive guard for us, and he's just been the model football player. Just comes to work, plays with great effort, toughness, smart, reliable, and all the things that make him a flag carrier and a real ambassador of our team. John Burke, offensive lineman, is our first captain. Then going on to Major Jordan. Major Jordan plays linebacker for us. He's been a starter for a couple years now, and he's played special teams. And since the moment he walked on campus, you could tell this guy loves football. And everything he does, his approach to the practice, the games, off-season training, he's just a guy that positively influences his team. He's a natural leader. He's earned the respect of his teammates. Major Jordan, linebacker, is our second captain. The next captain is Quinn Revere. Quinn Revere plays wide receiver for us. Quinn actually came on to campus as a walk-on and earned his stripes. He's showed great development as a player and a person, and he earned playing time and earned a starting job, and then earned an opportunity to be on scholarship. And he sets the pace for the receivers with his work ethic and his preparation, and he gives just great enthusiasm. He brings that passion, emotion, enthusiasm all the time that we talk about, and he'll do a great job leading our team as one of our captains. And then Otis Thrasher is our fourth captain. Otis plays safety for us, and he is just, you talk about peak, passion, emotion, enthusiasm, and perseverance. I emphasize that last one, that perseverance. Otis has battled injuries and adversity his time here at Lafayette, but he walks around with a bounce in his step and a smile on his face and positively influences his team. He challenges them. He encourages them. He's a natural leader. He got to play a lot this year because he was finally healthy, and he impacted the team on the field, and just thrilled that he's one of our captains. And these four guys, John, Major, Quinn, and Otis, will represent our team very well, and they've earned the respect of our teammates. So really, really pleased with their leadership as we go into 2020.
John, obviously great choices, and we have a little bit of an opportunity to talk to the guys. John, I'm going to start with you. A 3-year starter. You played a couple of positions, right guard, right tackle. This year, all Patriot League second team honors. But now you're the man. You've got to be one of the leaders. Talk a little bit about that responsibility and maybe how you've grown into the leadership role in your years at Lafayette.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely just, I think, the highest honor to be nominated a captain by your teammates, by your peers. Because it just shows that level of respect, that level of belief in you from your teammates, as well as trust from your teammates, your coaches. It really means a lot, especially coming into Lafayette as a freshman. I actually missed my entire freshman season. I was hurt. But as soon as I was healthy, as soon as I was moving again, teammates, coaches gave me every opportunity, welcomed me with open arms. And I kind of found my way eventually into the rotation and into the starting lineup, and just kind of tried to embody what being a Lafayette football player is about from that point forward. So to culminate to this point, it's a huge honor, and I'm very, very thankful and very excited for the coming future.
Well, thank you for that, and congratulations. And Major, you too, a 3-year starter. Last year, led the team in tackles with 112 of them. Even managed to pick up an interception. I'm not quite sure how that happened for you, but congratulations on that. And kind of the same question for you. I think you've kind of been a leader throughout your years at Lafayette, but this puts a little bit more responsibility on you. And talk a little bit about how you're going to accept that role. I think you're muted. There you go.
Yeah,
Mike.
there we go. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like John said, it's a true honor to be recognized by your peers and your teammates as a captain for the team. So it's just a great honor. And, I think we have a great group of guys in general. A lot of the guys on the team, we don't really necessarily need captains because we all just keep each other accountable no matter what. Even if you're a freshman to a senior, we all have that one goal in mind. So we want to win the Patriot League title and beat Lehigh. So that's our ultimate goal, and everybody's on board to just keep us doing that job. You know what I mean? So as being a captain, it's a great honor and stuff like that to lead us into this new season on and off the field, be able to represent the Lafayette football program. But, as I said, there's a lot of guys on this team that, everybody's holding each other accountable, in our workouts and, our meetings and making sure we know our job and to do what's right for the team, because we're all chasing after the championship. So we're looking forward to the season and we're excited to get going.
We are too. Mike, you got some questions.
Yeah. Hey, Quinn, what's up, man? How you doing? All right. Good to see you, bro. Hey, listen up. I wanted to find out from you. You're obviously coming off a little bit of an injury, so this season means even more to you, I think. And you're leading what I think is the best group of athletes. I think Otis will be upset I said that about the DBs, but you got a nucleus of wide receivers that is going to be fantastic this year. Tell me a little bit about your feeling about being elected captain and what it means coming off maybe that injury, what you have to prove.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think this season, to me, is going to be a lot sweeter than all the others. Going into your senior year, I kind of had some of those games stripped from me, and I'm thankfully healthy now. Like you said, the group of wide receivers is extremely talented. I think one of the most talented groups since I've ever been here, and I'm excited to lead them. There are a lot of young guys, and so they have a lot of developing to do. But as we all did when we first came in, they're maturing a lot mentally and physically, and so I'm excited for it. And it's been a huge privilege just to be elected captain alongside these guys. And what I like to look at it as, our team is really special this year because it's not just us four as leaders and captains. We have so many other leaders. I couldn't even count them all. The entire senior class is leaders, junior classes are leaders, and even some of the going to be sophomores have developed. So we have a team full of leaders, which I think will create a lot of success for us and a lot of unity as well.
Yeah, and Otis, let's talk to you a little bit about the same thing. I mean, a position that's near and dear to my heart, the DBs. You got to follow in the footsteps. I mean, you think of the guys that you played with over the years, the Phil Parhams, the Eric Mitchells, YT last year, YT serving as a captain. What can you take from some of those guys? What can you kind of, reflect on and say, hey, I can use this, this, and this, and what can you bring to a captaincy knowing that you played with those guys with such talent?
Yeah, definitely playing with those guys was a great honor, and being a captain is a great honor. But definitely playing with those guys, learning different things, different aspects about the game, and just upping my game, and basically how to always work 110% always. And that's why they reached the level they did. Phil being All-American, YT being the captain, Eric being an outstanding player for his 4 years at Lafayette. It's just being a part of being in the same defensive backcourt as them really taught me that just to always push myself and always try to reach another level and try to play at a high standard. And as a captain, I just want to make sure that we always holding each other accountable. Like like we said, we have a lot of leaders on the team, and I know we're going to do that. And I know that everyone's going to hold each other accountable and always play at this high standard because, like Major said, the ultimate goal is to get the Patriot League championship. And the only way we could do that is if we're playing at our best always, and competing always, and just holding ourselves accountable. And and I'm really excited for the 2020 season, and I can't wait.
All right. Well, we thank you guys. And John, it certainly looks like the team made a great selection in these 4 football players.
Well, that's for sure. They, like I said, they earned the respect of their teammates, and clearly these were the guys that can naturally lead our team, and they've done it on the field and off, and I'm really proud that they're our captains for 2020.
All right, we do have some questions from the people who have been watching at home, and Mike, I'll take the first one. It says, "Hey, Coach Garrett, it's Luke Hensley from Medina High School. He wants to attend your camp in July. What are the plans to still have it?"
Well, no, unfortunately not. Just because of the national and local and state lockdown rules and decisions that and Lafayette has decided to abide by those. So there'll be no summer camps or activities for us, and that's pretty much across the board, the NCAA.
Michael, I think you can pick up a question there.
I'm having a little trouble seeing you, Gary. If you have it, go ahead.
All right. Is the NCAA or Patriot League offering any guidance for how to approach the season, or do you have an opportunity to offer your ideas and your views? The NCAA might allow conferences the latitude to construct their own guidelines. Is that possible? And John, your thoughts on the whole issue there?
Well, it's going to be an NCAA decision, and they're going to follow the guidelines of our nation, of our state and local governments, before they put anybody in jeopardy to come back to start playing. So that's the number one filter and guidelines that we have to go by. And then the NCAA will continue to make safety the reason and the guidelines that they have before we return to play. And they won't be able to do it gradually because it won't be fair for someone in the East to start later than someone in the West. But I believe that nothing has been decided, and they are really taking it week to week based on the information they receive from the national and local governments and the health organizations. But there could be a delay. There could be where you only play conference games is something that we've heard as well, because I think the number one thing is they want to preserve the playoffs. And how we preserve the playoffs is to be able to name conference winners. In order to name conference winners, you got to play conference games. So a scenario is that if you have to delay it a month, you have training camp in September and you start in October, and then the month of October and then 3 weeks of November give you 8 weekends to play. That is a scenario. Nothing has been decided. But I think they'll do everything they can to have a wonderful 2020 season that works and pleases everyone. So we'll wait to see what happens. And I trust the NCAA, they'll make a wise decision for everyone.
John, we got another question here. It's again from Drew Hensley from Medina again. If guys want to take a visit, college football is played this season. Will you allow high school underclassmen to come for those game day visits, which we see so many recruits at on your sidelines for home games?
Well, it's all based on what the national and local governments allow us to do. And if the NCAA clears us to play and clears on-campus recruiting, we'll certainly invite those prospects. So we'll try to get back to normal as quickly as possible, because it's really, really important for us and the recruit to come to campus. It means that the recruiting is real. We have genuine interest from the player. We have genuine interest from them. We get to know them. We get to spend time with them. We get to see what makes them tick. And we want to find out if they love football and they're competitive and they're motivated by achievement. Because if you have those three things, you're going to be successful at Lafayette College as a football player in our program. And so once they give us the go ahead, we're going to have as many of those guys who love football who we're recruiting back to our campus for games.
That's good, John. I have one of my own. I mean, you ended it with 4 out of the last 5 games with W's. That has got to be so big. And these 4 seniors that we're looking at have to just everything's got to mount on that. I mean, 4 of the last 5, you end up second in the Patriot League. I mean, it's time. It's breaking through time, right?
Well, we already broke through in 2019, Mike, and now it's breakout season in 2020, and that's our theme. We can smell it. It's right there. It's right there. We beat Holy Cross at their place, and we know we can do it. And we've won on the road. We've won at home, and everybody's poised and ready to make that second push this year for a drive to the Patriot League title, and we believe we can do it. But that's a long-term goal that's out here. What we're focused on is today and trying to get better each day as a player, as a program, as a coach. And we know that if we do that every day, we're going to stack all those good days together, and we're going to be in a position to go through a great process to put us in position to be champions. So that's our goal.
John, we thank you very much for the time. Mike, I know you and I are ready to get back into the booth and get ready to call some college football. So we hope everything moves in the right direction in the next few months. And we thank everybody that tuned in today. First time we've ever tried this, and I think it worked out pretty well. Thanks to the production of Scott Morris and his gang. They did a terrific job. And John, I think it's only appropriate we end the tailgate the way we started. Give your introduction to your meetings and let the co-captains react.
All right, everybody ready? So this is the way we started. This is the way we're going to end it. Good afternoon, everyone.
Win the day.
Win the day.
Lehigh.
Lehigh.
That's perfect. Oh my is my reaction to that. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you soon, hopefully, on the Lafayette Sports Network. For Mike, I'm Gary. Thanks for being with us.
Go Leopards.